Okay, so now you've got the basic controls, let's start looking at Revit exercise 1. So this time, rather than families open, it's going to be families new, so you're creating something from scratch. And this time, it'll take you into a different setup, which is rather than families, it's family templates. So family templates, English, you're in here, and these are all the different type of templates you could use. And some of these have got what they call constraints on them. So if you do a floor-based or a wall-based, then everything you do is expected to sit on a wall or go into a floor. So what I start off with limited constraints is metric generic model. So when you open this, it's a completely empty kind of working environment. And this time, you just find you'll have crosshairs. So here's crosshairs. The first thing you've got to do is remind yourself where you are in 3D space. 3D little block isn't here. You're in floor plan reference level. So that's looking down on top of your model. So if you look at your brief, it says the plan dimensions of the house are 5 meters by 8 meters. So we can start by doing create and this thing called reference plane. And you can slice a plane through this 3D workspace horizontally. When you click second time, it gives you a dimension that this is away from this reference. So in my mind now, I'm going to make this 5,000 by clicking on it and typing in 5,000. That's 5 meters. And if I now do ZE as we did before, you can see this is now 5 meters away. This reference line, it's moved. So I now want to do a reference line perpendicular to this, and it'll dimension it to this other reference line, and this one should be 8 meters. So I've now got a rectangle 8 meters by 5 meters, which are the plan dimensions of the house. So I'll press the middle scroll and bring it slightly more in. Double escape finishes a command. So now these that you drew, you could extend just by clicking on them and pulling them across. This reference line, you could pull that across, just drag on this here. It's not letting me do that. Oh, it's pinned at the moment. So what I want to do is now draw a rectangle here, which would be the base of the house, and then extrude it, which is like pull it up out of the page. So if we do create, and now it's an extrusion, this is just a shape, we're just drawing this as it's a block. You can either do this, which is a line, or you could do a rectangle. A rectangle will be quicker. Whenever you hover over something, it gives you what to do. However, I'll start off with lines just to help you understand what's happening. So starting from the intersection, which I'm saying is the bottom left hand corner on plan, and you can see it locks at 90. It also locks on your reference line. It comes across here, it locks on that intersection. Even though there's no connection here, it will actually pick up that this is a perpendicular intersection, even though the reference line isn't extended, and then back. So I've now got a closed loop. You need it to be closed. You must press this green tick. If you don't press that green tick, things don't work. So press that. You've now said I've got an extrusion, and I'm looking at the plan of it. So if I look at the front, as in looking from this space, by pressing front, I'm expecting to see an extrusion. If I do, it's here and it's small at the bottom. Type in ZE. So here is your 8 meters, so you know that that's the long dimension. So you're looking at the front of the house, and you've got a height of this extrusion, but you don't know how high this is. So you can take this little measure here, and let's see how high that is. So that's 250 millimeters. Double escape and it disappears. So you know whenever you do an extrusion, it starts off at 250 millimeters. Sometimes that can be huge if you're working on small items, and on this house it's relatively small. So I'm going to add another reference line up here. So create reference line and put it across. This one here in the brief, the height of the eaves is 6. So type in 6, and that's giving me something to connect this too. So if I double escape and click on this extrusion, I can then pull it with these arrows up to here and it'll lock on there. There are various other ways of doing it. I'm just showing you one. Please have a field to explore. So now I should have the base of the house like a block without the roof. So if I go into 3D view, view 1, and if I zoom out a little bit and press shift and then the roller on the mouse, I should get this block. Okay, that one's, if you remember, not in wireframe, it's in the hidden line. If you pressed wireframe or if you pressed shaded, you'd get different views, whichever is your preference. Okay, so what I want you to do now is to try and add a triangle onto the top of here as a roof and extrude it along the edge to the end. So see how you get on with that.